Hello, long time no see. Is this channel dead? No, I don't like to think that it is, even though it may seem it, and I've probably said it myself a few times, but listen, there's Doomsday stuff happening, 4 teasers dropped, I had to do something, like, even if I don't cover this stuff, so, every day, every week, like all the other channels I watch, which I wish I could and wish I did, I just, life doesn't always pan out that way, but I'm not making excuses, that's just the way it is, and I'm sorry, but here I am now. Today, I'm going to watch all 4 of the Doomsday teasers that have been released, in order in which they were released, and we're trying to solve this riddle the Russos are teasing. Riddle which states this. What you've been watching for the last 4 weeks are not teasers or trailers, they are stories, they are clues, pay attention. The Russos put this as their caption on Instagram underneath the last teaser, the Black Panther Fantastic Four teaser. Now, what does this mean? I have no idea. They are very cryptic with these things. Now, they were doing this with Endgame, they did it with Infinity War, and now they're doing it with Doomsday. So we can only guess what they actually mean. But they're not trailers, not teasers. That's the key wording here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to watch all 4 of them in the order in which they were released. I'm going to see what kind of threads we can pick and pull from each one. I think they've all been good, except maybe the first. I don't like the first one that much, but we'll get to that after I watch them. So let's dive in, all right? I'm Joe. Welcome back to Wrestling with Movies. Obviously, we're going to start with the first one released way back when. Everybody was like, oh my god, is this AI? I even thought it was AI. I didn't believe it at all. But the Steve Rogers trailer. So, let's see. The sad instrumental of the Avengers theme, just chef's kiss every time. Alan Silvestri, the goat that you are. Alright, clearly he's arriving to the house he was at the end of Endgame, right? So, it's on his bike. Triumph sponsorship, probably. Did they sell a lot after this? Probably. Alright, he's approaching the house. Sorry, obviously Chris Evans. That's cool. It's cool that he's back. I'm curious. He's putting the Captain America outfit in a box, clearly signifying his retirement. And the final scene is that he's holding a child. Clearly a child of him and Peggy, but it's Peggy. Timeline mumbo jumbo. So he's holding a baby. Obviously loves the kid very much, as shown by what's on his face. Very stoic look of Steve, typical of Chris Evans as Captain America. And then it cuts to the words that just say Steve Rogers will return in Avengers Doomsday. Nothing much else shown. Pretty much the only trailer of the 4 that shows pretty much nothing other than the fact that he is back, which is cool. Fine, I don't mind. It's if you're bringing Robert Downey Jr. back, I guess you have to bring Chris Evans, despite the fact they both got career endings. At least RDJ is a different character. We'll see what they do with Steve. And, of course, the Doomsday countdown clock for a whole year. That's bold. I haven't seen Marvel do a trailer this early in forever. So the Steve Rogers trailer, like I said, nothing much really happens other than the fact that we're establishing him back at the end of where he was at the end of Endgame, and that's where we're going to pick up with him in Doomsday. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the opening scene and Doom comes in and I don't want to say kills him, but does something. As we go through the trailers, we'll figure out what I actually think his plan is, or at least I think. Because it makes the most sense given what we've seen and what we know. So, but I guess the reason he's even brought back is because they have said this Endgame, Doomsday is a direct sequel to Avengers Endgame. And with that being the case, what exactly does that mean? This movie, this once-in-a-lifetime film, what does that mean exactly? So, it's basically saying that anybody that saw most or all of the Marvel stuff that came out post this, it's okay if you didn't. Like, there's been, 15 movies and probably overall 30 projects, including TV shows. I've seen all of them, I think, maybe except Echo. But, I mean, what could that mean? It means if you've seen what happens in this, you'll understand what's happening in Doomsday. I think that's what it means. So, let's start there as we go into these theories, okay? So, that's the Steve Rogers trailer. We'll go with that. We'll go into the next one. One more. So, here we go. This one was really good when I first saw it. It's got dialogue. Very serious Thor. We got Infinity War looking Thor. This looking Thor right here. I mean, this is the Endgame cover. We get it.
Now, fate has given me something I never sought.
Now, most people didn't care for, including myself, Thor: Love and Thunder, but he did get a child at the end of that, and this is clearly important. So, what do we have? What's a through line we already have? Children. The seriousness of Thor and the tone of this. It's like original Thor movies meets Infinity War and Endgame written Thor. That's what it is. The Russos just know how to treat Thor as not a joke. What's got Thor so in peril that he's praying to his dead father in Valhalla to give him strength? And it's just so well written. It's such a good prayer.
Battle, but stillness. The kind I never knew. Please, heed my words.
Like, it's just, I love that. And just as Thor will return in Avengers Doomsday. So, obviously, what happened at the end of Thor: Love and Thunder is that he gets the kid, and pause that, and it hits the clock again. So, what we learned from this one, now there was dialogue. Thor praying to Odin, awesome. I don't think Anthony Hopkins will show up in these things ever again, to be honest with you. He wasn't even in Endgame, so I don't think he's going to be in this. Maybe, though, if the situation calls for it. I don't know if it will. We'll see. But this trailer was probably, it's one of my favorites. It's a great way to reintroduce Thor, because we haven't seen him since Love and Thunder. Do I even have Love and Thunder over here? I wasn't sure if I had it, because it's not one of the ones I was particularly excited to buy. Like, I still don't have Ant-Man 3. I don't think I ever will, because literally that movie's irrelevant now, as we know. Anyway, I don't hate this movie. It's really silly and kind of too much Ragnarok and not enough Infinity War Thor, especially because it's after that. So it's like, Thor needed a change up and got it in Ragnarok, but did not need this much of a change up. There was too much improv, too much whatever you want to call it, not enough good Thor moments to make a good movie. So, but back to the trailer. So Thor obviously is very in peril, praying to his dead father Odin for strength to protect his daughter, or at least get back to her, wherever that means. But we now know. In the Steve trailer, they showed his child, presumably him and Peggy's, and then we got Love, the Love in Thor: Love and Thunder, which is Gore's kid that that he wished back to life from eternity. So this kid's basically a cosmic imbalance of eternity and whatever else, so superpowers and stuff. So she's strong. She's well, properly named as Thor's daughter, because he's super strong. So it makes perfect sense. So now, what does Doom want with these kids? Clearly, he has. I almost said the wrong thing there. Clearly, he wants very powerful beings, and the powerful beings have to meet kids. The question is, about Steve's kid, is it because he's an anomaly through the multiverse? Because it's a Steve from one timeline going back to another timeline to marry and have a kid with other Peggy from a different timeline. Blah. So I'm assuming that has something to do with it. If we're assuming that Doom is reigning in the universe here, I really think we should have gotten a Loki trailer, or he should have been part of this one. But it's okay. The less we know about the movie, the better. But I think obviously the kid through line is going to stay in this until we get to the next one. But I'll explain why in a little bit. But do remember, the post-credit scene in Fantastic Four featured Doctor Doom himself coming to take, or at least coming to talk to, Franklin Richards, who we already know is a super powerful being, so powerful that the Galactus wanted him to take his place, and so powerful he brought his own mother back to life. So, let's keep that in mind. Doom wants these kids for some reason. Okay, here we go with the third one. And you all know what the third one was. It's probably, by and large, everyone's favorite, because if you're my age, I'm 28 right now, you saw these movies when you were a kid, and they're near and dear to your heart, even though half of them aren't good. But we love this stuff, and we love these characters. Let's watch this X-Men teaser. Oh, Xavier's school, Tone.
Death comes for us all.
Ian McKellen's voice is just iconic as Magneto, man. We haven't seen him in a decade plus. I think it's him and Patrick Stewart talking. I know they're both in it. It's just both in the trailer, but I think it's both their voices. They're talking about death. Again, it's a kind of a theme with the Thor thing, praying for something, and they're talking about death, about who you'll be when you close your eyes. Rolling up to the X chair, the spokes, playing chess. God, I love these two. They're so perfect. I'm so happy. These could be their final performances in film ever, and I couldn't be happier that they're here. But obviously, the money shot. Can't help but grin at that. That is the X-Men return in Avengers Doomsday. That's so hype. They either should have led with that or ended with it. And you got the clock again, of course. So what do we got in this trailer? So we got the two legends of Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, two legends of the screen, back together again after their many, many, many movies together in X-Men. Of course, got the original trilogy here with what started it all. Good, great, bad is quality of these movies, of course. But because here's the thing about these movies. When you first see them, and it's because they're made this way, Wolverine is by and large the main character of these things, and that's not a problem. Everybody loves Wolverine. Everybody loves Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, so much so that he's going to do it till he's 90, right?
Till you're 90.
But as you come older, and if you've seen what comes after this, you realize Wolverine, as much as he's the main character, is really not, because in my mind, the main characters are Magneto and Charles Xavier, both of whom are so integral to the plots of these things. Particularly this movie, Days of Future Past, the Road Cut specifically. Fantastic. You need to watch this. If you're going to watch X-Men and Days of Future Past, don't watch the theatrical cut. Watch this. It adds Anna Paquin back in as Rogue, and even there, but besides that, there's just more stuff included, more arguments, more talks, more stuff between Charles and Eric. But they're the heart of these movies. Like, again, Wolverine, main character. Everybody wants to see him. Everyone wants to see the claws. That's fine. I want to see that. Sure. And I love Logan. It's fantastic. But seeing these two back in this trailer, Ian McKellen dropping bars about death and who you're going to be when you die. It's like heartwarming to see them together, but also sad because whenever they're teaming up, some bad shit's going down. Like they're about to lose.
All those years wasted fighting each other, Charles. To have a precious few of them back.
And it looks like the mansion is in ruins. And then you get like them talking about them playing chess. Like I don't know how they time to play chess when the world's ending or whatever. But either way, they look fantastic. They look so old, but like look so amazing. Can't wait to see them again. I hope they're in it more than like 5 minutes, which I'm not too confident in because the cast of this movie is massive. But hey, if it's 3 hours and 45 minutes, I think we're good. But yeah, I mean, if you love the action movies as much as I do, and I really do, I learned to love them more as I got older. They're just like, yeah, they're cheesy and some of them are bad. Like, The Last Stand's not a good movie, but X2 is so good, and Days of Future Past is by far the best X-Men, in my opinion. Even though it messes up timeline, and what comes after it is not very good. I have X-Men Apocalypse for some reason. I do not have Dark Phoenix, and we'll never have Dark Phoenix, because that movie is fucking trash. They're still good in it, though. Like, James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender should get their accolades as the younger versions of these characters. Added depth, added weight, but you can't beat the OGs. They're just so good. And the scene in the first one where they're playing chess in Magneto's plastic prison cell, and he asks him, like, what do you do when you wake up and you see your kids being attacked? And he's like, I feel a great sort of pity for the poor soul comes to that school looking for trouble. That's my terrible Patrick Stewart impression, but you get it. Amazing line. And seeing them together in this very trailer that it says they're actually going to be an Avengers movie, a live action Avengers movie, which we know is possible after Deadpool and Wolverine. Great. It's still incredible to see. And that's all good. Then the money shot of these trailers. It's James Marsden ripping off his Cyclops lenses thing and just ripping a huge blast into the sky. James Marsden, probably one of the most done dirty in this franchise, probably because he got killed to be in Superman Returns. Unfortunately, that movie sucks too, but the movie he was going to be in was also bad. Would have been better if he was in it? Maybe. I don't know. But they had Gene kill him in the first 5 minutes. So now he's back, and apparently more powered than ever. He has a comic accurate suit, looks yellow and black and or blue, which is funny because he said the line about what'd you expect, yellow spandex in the first one. They were talking about their leather costumes, and it's of the time, whatever. We all understand that. But now that he's back in comic accurate stuff, he's just going nuts. And why is he going nuts? That's the question. So Charles and Eric are talking about death, clearly on death's door with something happening, and in that shot of Cyclops just absolutely going ham in the looks to be the backyard of the X mansion, you can very clearly see a lot of, or at least 2 pairs of very heavy and very large mechanical legs, probably attached to giant robots, which are also called Sentinels, which you would have seen in X-Men Days of Future Past, just they were smaller versions. In the comics, in the TV show, in the animated series, they're just the giant purple cyborg things. They're only have one purpose, designed to kill mutants, and they're terrifying. So now it looks like in whatever the scene this is in the movie, they made it so that they're obviously taking on the mansion, maybe under Doom's control. Question is why? So we can theorize now that we saw Steve's kid, we saw Thor's kid, both are very prevalent in their trailers. No kid in this X-Men one. What does that mean? Now, we assume this timeline of X-Men takes place after the ending of Days of Future Past, where everybody's back alive, whenever. Exclude Logan from the equation here. Let's say it takes place from the ending of that, which is 2023 through 2028. That's the time I'm looking here, because I think Doomsday will be in that 2028. So let's assume that's when it is, and everybody's happy. And let's assume Jean and Scott had a child. I don't know if Famke Janssen's gonna be in this thing. I'm guessing no, because she hasn't said anything as such. So let's assume they had a kid. and let's assume it was a girl. Let's assume it's Rachel Summers. Rachel Summers would have the same powers as her mother, which is the Phoenix Force, super psychic. So that would equate to another powerful kid. And let's assume that Jean Grey, known to have red hair, and Scott, also known to have red hair in the cartoon at least, would equal a redheaded kid. Now we know Sadie Sink was casted as somebody in the new Spider-Man Brand New Day that's coming out this summer, right? So, if 2 plus 2 equals 4, is Sadie Sink playing a hidden in the multiverse version of Rachel Summers? And the Doom is chasing her, and that's how that movie ends. Comes fucking take her from his universe, and that rips us into Doomsday. I bet you it does. That's my prevailing theory for this X-Men thing, because I don't really know how else or why else they would connect into this thing. Like, we still got Mystique and Nightcrawler, so obviously I don't know what they're doing in this. I mean, I don't know. So that's something to think about. I think that's on the path. Don't know if it's right. It could be Nathan Summers, who's Cable, who's been in the Deadpool movies already, so it's technically in these universe already, I guess. But he's also played with Josh Brolin and played Thanos, so I don't know if that will work. But Russos do love the guy, so I don't know. We'll see. That's my only theory for that. So that was the third trailer. X-Men trailer, my favorite trailer. Let's go on to the next. Fourth and final trailer. Here we go. It's the Black Panther, Wakanda / Fantastic Four one. Interesting combo of people to bring in together. I'm fine with it. It's what these crossovers are built on. These interesting and, not what you think meetups between characters that we love. It reminds us that we're watching Cinematic Universe, which is something we haven't seen. Well, actually, I take it back. It's been a lot of team ups, but it's been a lot of multiverse stuff team up. So we got Deadpool, Wolverine, got the Spider-Mans, got the whatever else. So, but let's watch this trailer again and see what we can find. All right. So it starts in a desert. Last I checked, Wakanda is not a desert. So if we're thinking that the Fantastic Four crashed somewhere in Africa after the Thunderbolts post-credit scene,
That matters to me.
let's assume that and they meet the Wakandans first. I love Shuri's suit, by the way. Gold accents, a little Killmonger, and some blue, maybe from Talokan, because her and Namor built like a treaty or something. Namor in this trailer, by the way.
For the afterlife.
He looks badass. Like that guy, who's a sick villain. And Baku is the de facto king of Wakanda. Shuri's just Black Panther. Split the roles.
Of Wakanda.
And he shakes hands with the thing. I think CGI looks fantastic, by the way. And she does the thing. So, the Wakandans and the Fantastic Four will turn him and finish each other. Alright, again, more dialogue. So, Shuri talking about how she's lost everybody she loves. So, what do we got? She lost her father, she lost her brother, and she lost her mother. So, that's pretty much everybody she loves. Or is it? So, we learned in Wakanda Forever that Nakia and T'Challa secretly had a kid. Here we go again with the kids. So, she has a nephew out there somewhere who is the descendant of a Black Panther. That doesn't really mean anything because he would still be a kid, and the Black Panther powers aren't genetic. Like, you have to drink the thing and then put the suit on and you get super whatever agility and stuff. So I don't know what that has to do with anything, but it could inform why the Wakandans get involved at all, or because they're meeting the Fantastic Four, and this is the only trailer that shows two people from two different groups of the movie meeting each other. Like, the other ones are very focused on either the X-Men, Thor, and Steve Rogers. So this one combines the two. And we already know the Fantastic Four are on the hunt for their kid in their universe, who is Franklin Richards, Reed and Sue's kid. So obviously they came to the main MCU timeline, universe, whatever, to search for him because Doom probably took him. So that could just hook the Wakandans into their little group, help them look so-and-so. I think it's a very, very short thing to think about this trailer, but I think that's it. So let's bake everything together in our head here and figure out what the basic plot of this movie is, or at least what Doom's plan is. Because again, let's read that thing the Russos posted. They said, what you've been watching the last 4 weeks are not teasers or trailers. They're stories, they're clues. Pay attention. What the hell does that mean? Kobe Bryant, R.I.P. So like I said during the X-Men one, we have to surmise that Doom is after powerful entities in the universe, and they happen to be children. Because in each trailer, we can at least think, if they're not trailers at all and they're stories, what stories are being told? The Steve and his kid story, okay. I don't even want to get into this, but there's a crazy theory out there that, like, Steve and Peggy having a kid when they did it somehow spawns the Robert Downey Jr. version of Doctor Doom, and I think that's just a terrible, weird idea. I really hope it does not come to fruition. I think we're better off just having Doom exist on his own thing, and Steve could be the reason he exists, just not literally. That's weird. I'm gonna get off that right now and just not exercise that from my brain and yours. But we have to assume, based on what we know from comics and what this is loosely based on, which is Secret Wars from 2015, if Doctor Doom is using all these powerful kids to build his own version of a multiverse, or at least one world where all multiverses can collide, called Battle World, that's in the comics, this is probably what he needs these kids for to do. Then go to Loki, who's in this movie. Tom Hiddleston's confirmed for it. So again, I think that we should have gotten a Loki teaser, and that would have been sick. But he has time to it by being able, because he's holding multiverse together, right? So Doom with these kids gonna try to take Loki's throne and make his own version. But when he creates this battle world, it'll be his own universe, one to play God in. So that's the prevailing theory. It's not just mine. I think it makes sense, and I think it might be deeper than that, because the Russos wouldn't have said that if it was so obvious, because we already thought that, I think. Although after the teasers, I guess maybe not. But either way, I think it has something to do with that. It has to, because otherwise I don't know. So thank you for sticking around and bearing with me again. I really wanted to get this channel going, but just being honest, it just hasn't happened. And I rearranged the set a little bit here. There's nothing in front of me now. I'm just kind of talking with my desk in front of me, like you don't see it. You just see my movies. You see my posters. You see Thor's hammers. I didn't even realize I put 2 Thor's hammers up there. Doesn't matter. MCU Thor, video game Thor. Not important. But I'm gonna try to make this more consistent. I think the easiest way for me to keep it flowing is to do shorts. I might do that because it's just easier to do on my phone. I can bring a microphone with me and plug it into my phone. Way easier than, or just use headphones. Way easier than just coming down here and setting this up. But I will do this for big things. Try to do more reviews. I wish I did a top 10 this year, but it just didn't. Christmas was crazy, so I just didn't want to do anything like that. So, but my lighting's different. I think I figured out how to actually make it look like a lighting situation studio. I really want to backlight this with like LEDs and shit, but that's just way easier said than done. So, I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping to evolve it, and we'll see. So, I've been Joe. These have been my Doomsday Teaser thoughts, and I'm probably wrong in every single one of them. But that's the thing we love about these things. Watch theory videos and everything. So, I've been Joe once again. This has been Wrestling with Movies, and watch out for my channel banner being ramped out. I originally had this channel doing wrestling and movies, hence the title, but I don't care about wrestling anymore, honestly, to be honest. So, just movies, and now I'm just going to wrestle with them alone in a ring in my basement, and you're going to watch, hopefully. So, I'll see you next time.